Hi, everybody. Pete Santilli here with a hard-hitting report on an article that came out of ZeroHedge.com. Now, this is how I'm going to hit this and hit it really hard. Here's the title of it. It's out there circulating on the internet. It's titled ISIS Strategy Leak Reveals a Syrian Takeover Plot. U.S. Created a group of very intelligent enemies, it says. But while Western propaganda would like ISIS to appear to be run by religious fanaticism, it instead, as RT reports, this originally came from RT, has been functioning more like a secret intelligence service. Now, this is what I'd like to call out. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be deceived by organizational charts thinking that you should be fearful of this entity. The entire reason why this chart was put out there and translated as follows was because ISIS was fabricated by the intelligence services. And I'm going to prove that. I have documented proof that in fact is the case. We already know a couple of people high up in the presidential administrations, as well as the media has been also admitting some things about the leader of ISIS. We'll get to that momentarily. But look at this chart right here. Draft for a secret service structure for the Islamic State. For the first time, the Haji Bakr documents now make it possible to reach conclusions on how the IS leadership is organized and what role former officials in the government of ex-dictator Saddam Hussein play in it. Above all, however, they show how the takeover in northern Syria was planned, making the group's later advances into Iraq possible in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, this organizational chart smells of American organizational corporatism. Okay, here at the top, it says the Emir of Security Division for a region. Regions and divisions and security departments, surveillance, these are all terms that basically the intelligence operatives that want you to believe that these fanatical religious Islamists are very, very well organized so that you can combat them by sending billions, if not trillions of dollars to their military-industrial complex. Now, we do know with absolute certainty, as was published here on Washington'sBlog.com, 42 admitted false flag attacks. I'll provide a link to this thing. If anybody out there thinks that false flag attacks, basically just creating terrorism and blaming it on another country, whereas the U.S. intelligence services and our government sanctioning it will create an event and then blame it on our enemy that we go after. That way, we Americans just put money into a bucket. We're fearful, and we help support the military-industrial complex. I'm going to go down here to, I think it's number 32. This is interesting, okay? Because when I first looked at this, I was very struck by it. It said former Department of Justice lawyer John Yoo suggested in 2005 that the U.S. should go on the offensive against al-Qaeda. And I said to myself, I said, really, did a justice lawyer, John Yoo, really say that? And I actually did some research. And let me show you this, okay? Blame it on al-Qaeda. I'm sorry, not that one right there. There it is. Going on the offensive. Published in the Los Angeles Times in 2005, July 13, 2005, by John Yoo, a law professor of UC Berkeley and a former administration official. This is what he writes in his own words. Another tool would have our intelligence agencies create a false terrorist organization. It could have its own websites, recruitment centers, training camps, and fundraising operations. And of course, now we know that they have their own organizational charts. But it could launch fake terrorist operations. Okay? Could launch fake terrorist operations and claim credit for real terrorist strikes, helping to sow the confusion within al-Qaeda's ranks, causing operatives to doubt others' identities and to question the validity of communication. So here we are with a presidential administration official and attorney suggesting launching fake terrorism that you're basically paying for. Okay. Now there's a CBS News article here, and I'm just going to play maybe an excerpt of it. But the leader of ISIS himself, listen to this.
ISIS forces attacking the Iraqi government have declared their territory a new country under strict Islamic law. Their leader is becoming, in effect, the new Osama bin Laden. Elizabeth Palmer has learned more about him.
In this elaborately produced video released by ISIS in May, there's a glaring omission. Among the fighters and the ISIS faithful, we see not a single glimpse of their leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. In fact, there are only 2 known photographs of the man born in Iraq in 1971 who now controls the most extreme Islamist army on earth. And that's no coincidence, says Firas Abi Ali, a Middle East analyst.
You don't survive for a very long time in this kind of business if everybody knows your name and knows your face and knows where you stay.
In 2005, during the U.S. occupation of Iraq, American soldiers arrested al-Baghdadi. But when the military closed its Camp Bucca prison, Baghdadi was handed over to the Iraqis, who let him go.
That's right. They'd let him go, ladies and gentlemen, because he was an intelligence fabrication to lead ISIS. And that, in fact, is with plenty of research that you can do on your own. You can go determine this on your own. I've already looked up the Los Angeles Times article myself, where John Yoo admitted that one of our tools of intelligence agency would be to create a false terrorist organization. This, as far as I'm concerned, as of July 13, 2005, was in fact the birth of ISIS. ISIS, we know, has been supported by, funded by the likes of John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Barack Obama, as well as Hillary Clinton. As we know, the Benghazi attacks, it is well documented through whistleblower accounts that Ambassador Stevens was negotiating arms from al-Qaeda in Libya to be delivered to al-Qaeda or ISIS in Syria. So this entire hoax here, and here's my point about this article that was published by RT and republished by Zero Hedge. If the intelligence services really had this information about an organizational chart, ask yourself, why would they want to, if they had acquired this, why would they want to broadcast this, especially to those underlings that may not have access to this organizational chart? This has been easily communicated throughout the world to the organization itself, those that may not have even seen the formal organizational structure. But thanks to our intelligence services, they have broadcast it to the entire ISIS organization, even some people that have not seen it. But guess what? It wasn't intended for those people or to display that we caught them red-handed with documentation. The entire reason this thing was broadcast to the entire world today is because they want you to remain fearful. They want you to continue to support the effort to go after ISIS. But we should all know through some deep research and basically just, I guess, just reading the front pages of our news headlines sometimes from time to time. We hear John McCain, Lindsey Graham. We hear members of Congress that are supporting ISIS that did so in their effort to support the moderate ISIS Islamists that were fighting against Syria. We know that we funded them. They're an intelligence creation. And this document right here proves that the intelligence services published this stuff mainly to keep the fear of the American public going, so that you pull money out of your wallet and give it to the military-industrial complex. All right. Food for thought. Here's proof and documentation that they just want to keep us fearful. They want to show us that, ISIS intends to take over Syria and take over the entire Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on to your money. Do your absolute darndest, especially to hide the cheese from the IRS. Set up a business and legally do all of your write-offs, because any money that you're giving to them in the form of taxes is going towards supporting this organizational chart that was essentially fabricated by the intelligence services. Every single American needs to do their absolute darndest to legally, of course, setting up small businesses and writing off all of your income so that you don't have to pay income taxes. Do that, because your money will go towards supporting this effort by the military-industrial complex to keep the perpetual war on terror going. I'm Pete Santilli. This has been a special report here with, of course, a a twist of hard-hitting commentary. Be sure to tune in to the Pete Santilli Show each and every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. You can tune in by going to thepetesantillishow.com, and be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Share this information with as many people as possible via our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because that does share with all of the people that you're connected to. Thanks very much. We'll see you tomorrow on the show.